Well, welcome back to The Surge. We just finished our first part of the webinar where CA Kailash Agarwal gave us an overview about the problems faced by the real estate sector post-COVID lockdown situation. He also shared his valuable suggestions and guidelines for the real estate sector. If you have not seen that video, I will leave a link above in this video. Now in the next part, we have a distinguished gentleman who is also a chartered accountant. Let me introduce you to CA Alok Gadkari. Mr. Gadkari became a practicing chartered accountant in 2012. Currently, he is one amongst 4 partners at JAGR and Company, a chartered accountants LLP based in Pune. Over a period of time, he has gained experience in audits, consultancy, assessments, and appeals in the area of GST, excise, service tax, and VAT for MNC clients. Today, the Surge has invited CA Alok Gadkari to talk about automobile manufacturing sector, the problems they are facing post-COVID lockdown, and share his valuable suggestions and guidelines for the automobile industry. Over to you, Alok.
Very good morning, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank the organizer, Shri Rahul Naik, and the entire team of Surge. Today, the topic for discussion is automobile industry post-COVID-19. As we all are aware that in many countries, the auto industry is a key driver of GDP as well as a major employer. Trouble in this industry will definitely lead to serious challenges for the wider economy. So we'll first start with the major reasons for downfall in auto industry in COVID. Due to lockdown, we see that a lot of import was hampered due to COVID-19 spread. This has definitely affected all industries across, including the automobile sector. As we all know that India imports a wide array of automotive parts spanning various types from China, crucial automobile parts like the fuel injection pumps, EGR modules, electronic components, pumps, turbochargers, airbag components, etc. are all the key non-domestic commodities that can limit the further production of commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, and two-wheelers. So now what is the solution? The solution is obviously to switch to alternative suppliers outside China. But this solution is immediately not viable, as the shift cannot be sudden and not effective immediately. And even if the shift is underway, the existing stock is relatively very high to boost the sales in India, especially taking into consideration how India prepares to meet the BS6 standards. So this definitely serves as a wake-up call for the Indian automotive industry to formulate an action plan to acquire multiple vendors across the globe, and that too on a large scale, rather than limiting imports from only one region entirely. Importing from other countries can be a step taken in the right direction, as can be launching a domesticized production system. As we all know that the current lockdown is near to its end, and it will be effective for the companies or rather the industry to jumpstart businesses operations. So this will be across aspects, including the employee engagement, cash and liquidity management, sales and marketing revival, and operational continuity. If we go through this slide, we can easily see that there is a dip in the registration for new vehicles during the lockdown period. We can see that from March to May, not a single commercial vehicle or heavy vehicle or passenger vehicle has been registered other than the two-wheelers. So we can see that how badly the automobile industry is actually affected due to this COVID pandemic. Now we'll discuss what's next for the automotive industry and how to overcome the challenges. To overcome these challenges, automakers are already asking for support, and governments have responded with short-term measures such as supplying financial assistance and facilitating short-term work. However, more is required for the medium and long-term industry. In the long-term scale, governments and companies will need to start to prepare for what comes after the survival of this acute crisis. So now the question will shift from how to manage the crisis to its longer impacts and its potential effects on the future of the industry. Now, what are the major steps taken by the government? As we all know that Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, or the Self-Reliant India Mission, was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister of the country on May 2020, for which economic package of 20 lakh crores was announced, which is nearly 10% of the GDP of the country. So here we can say that a total of 3 lakh crores will be now given to the MSMEs, and this will in fact benefit more than 2 lakh small scale industries. Here the word self-reliance does not mean isolating away from the foreign world, but we can say that foreign direct investment will be welcome, technology will be welcome, due to which many employment opportunities will be created, and this definitely translates to being a bigger and more important part of the global economy. The most important thing that was made by the government is by amending the MSME definition. Now there is a composite criteria where investment as well as annual turnover will be a part of this definition. So due to this, before amendment of the definition, many companies were out of the MSME bracket and missed the subsidies and incentives received under the MSME definition. But now due to this amendment, they will also come under the same umbrella. The new criteria will be a step towards stepping up of ease of doing business, and it's expected to bring transparency between the MSMEs and the regulatory authorities. Further, it will also help align MSMEs to the new indirect tax regime of the GST, and definitely pave the way for an increased direct and indirect employment in the MSME sector. The credit line facility will financially support the MSMEs in restarting and ramping up with their business operations. Overall, we can say that the liquidity measures for the MSMEs as well as the NBFCs will encourage new investments, promoting across growth and supply chain and safeguarding employment. Now we will discuss the tax benefits. The GST tax benefits. Government has given leeway to MSMEs from penalties, interests for GST non-compliances. The government has announced a major relief by way of waiver or reduced late fee and interest for delayed filing and payments of taxes by the dealers who have a turnover of 5 crores. So this is definitely going to have a large impact on the small scale industries or the small businesses who are unable to comply with the GST returns due to heavy late fees, due to which they had resulted in cancellation of their GST registrations, and which had definitely, obviously, led to discontinuance of business. So the major step that the government has given is by reducing the rate of interest also. It was initially 18%, now the interest is 9%. So many kind of benefits of such type indirectly the government has given to the MSMEs. One more important thing is that the availment of input tax credit on the additional health insurance premiums. Now we can see that all the industries, the IT sector, automobile sector, all the manufacturing industries, they have invested a lot in the employees by taking out the insurance premiums, on which a major part is withheld by the GST input, the GST credit. So now government has definitely come out by allowing such type of credit, and even for using of masks, hand sanitizers, whatever the industry has invested for this COVID. Now the input tax credit will be allowed to them. Now, what is actually going to change from the perspective of a consumer's point of view? Now, we can definitely see that COVID-19 will change how the consumers view the safe transit. Now, what is safe transit? Consumer perception regarding safe transit has persisted for long as anyone can remember. In sight of COVID-19, the alternate transportation industry is already seeing a radical shift as to how consumers define safe transit. Now, this will definitely increase the personal use of cars. So, personal use cars are expected to see an increase owing to infections, health, and safety concerns with the shared mobility. So, auto industry shall target such consumers with various offers and easy payment schedules to boost the sales. Now, what are the expectations from the government? As we have seen that lowering of the reduction of taxes, duties, increasing of subsidies, or a reasonable extension of the repayment period are some of the important expectations that the industry expects from the government. Then additional support will be needed to defer the further timelines for filing of returns like GST returns, TDS payments, EPF deposits, etc. Then government can even incentivize new technologies. That is, tax exemptions can be given to the industries who are coming up with investments in manufacturing of EV or solar vehicles. And another important part will be government shall allow input tax credit on CSR expenditure. So what will happen due to this, that many industries have already started spending more on the COVID related relief work. So if they are able to get that GST benefit, it will be a great relief to the industry as a whole, because the component of GST on such expenditure will be definitely more, and getting of relief will help them in their working capital. Now, what are the expectations from the financial institutions? Definitely the basic will be lowering of interest rates on borrowings for purchase of cars to stimulate the demand. And the another one will be easy availability of finance for the SMEs. Now, what shall be the expectations from the auto industries? Now it is time for the automotive makers to come up with definitive plans for the EVs in all the segments. There is a great opportunity for serious EV players with reliable technology vehicles. So for cars, there is an ecosystem creation with charging stations and swappable battery technologies. So definitely government and public sectors should take lead in this expansion. Another important expectation from the auto industry will be starting of a new subscription model for buying cars, like leasing options available without down payment. So this can definitely attract many consumers who are currently unable to pay huge or big down payments, but definitely our desire to buy cars. So this subscription model, the new subscription model, will definitely increase the sales of the auto industry. Then cash and liquidity management. Now, what the auto industries can actually do internally so that their sales increase or their costs are reduced. First will be identify, prioritize for increasing the credit period from the creditors, and obviously rigorous follow-up for payment from the customers. So reduce, then next will be to reduce or stop unnecessary cash flows that are required for short-term periods as investment in fixed assets and machinery, unless there is a firm commitment or orders from customers. And industry can definitely ask for letter of credit if possible from the customers. So this is the employee management as well as the working capital. So how to manage the cash and liquidity management. Last one will be, and the most important part will be, to boost the morale of the employees. So for that, what can the industry do? So auto industry can understand the employees' needs and concerns by encouraging them to share their thoughts. So communicate your company's vision to the employees. always remember that transparency is one of the most important and respected traits among the employees. We can also say that due to this transparency and communication with the employees, this will directly enhance the efficiency of the employees, which will result in growth of the industry. And the most important part will be also the safety measures. So this is all that the industry can do to boost the morale of the employees. I would like to conclude here, and now I will request my partner CA Sachin Rokde, who will be explaining how the conditions of the manufacturing industry post COVID. Thank you.